before you reach out to a single member of the press, a single podcast, there are 4 things that you need to jot down and get super, super clear on, because PR starts with positioning, not pitching. You have to know where you are, what you stand for before you ever go talk to anybody. So there's a few things that you need to identify. There's 4 things total. The first is who you are, and not just your resume, but who are you? What do you believe in? What do you stand for? What do you not believe in? What do you not stand for? You need to get really clear on who you are, what your boundaries are, especially when it comes to talking about things publicly. I always ask clients, is there anything you don't want to talk about? Is there anything you want to keep personal? Because in the age of the internet, everything is out there once it's out there. And so if there's anything that needs to kind of be kept close to the vest, it's personal or family history, anything like that, just get clear on what your boundaries are when it comes to talking about who you are. The second thing that you need to identify is what you're an expert in. Are you an expert brand strategist? Are you an expert scientist? Are you an expert on the outdoors and camping? It's really important to get clear on what you are an expert in. So first you're doing who you are, who are you, what do you stand for, what do you believe in? What are you an expert in? And then branching out from that second point, you need to identify the topics that you can speak on repeatedly. What are you confident talking about on repeat? And then the 4th thing is the stories that only you can tell. What anecdotes are unique to you? What experiences have you had that have taught you a lesson or something that relates back to the topics that you can speak on very clearly, repeatedly? So once you have kind of those 4 angles mapped out, those 4 essential pieces of information about you and who you are, it's time to create your media foundation. So this is something that I always take clients through from the jump, especially for clients who have never had any sort of PR or earned media support before. So I'm going to walk through the list of these things, and there are some tools available within Prelo to produce versions of these for you. And I'll mention those as we go. The first is a short bio. So at minimum, you want a short bio about who you are. This is going to be good for going to podcasts, maybe putting at the end of an article that you wrote. A short bio is absolutely essential. Now, when I work with clients, I give them a short bio and a long bio, and they're used for a couple different things. The long bio, I can kind of tailor, and it might be used as an introduction script for when they're a guest on a podcast. Or if they're doing some sort of feature piece, I can use that more long form bio as part of that feature. So having a short and long form is nice, but it's not necessary. What I want you to do is focus on a short bio, wrapping up all the 4 elements that we already outlined in the beginning of this video and compacting it into a single paragraph. Next, you need to make sure that you have really solid headshots, and please do not use AI headshots. The whole point of earning media is being authentic to who you are. We're not paying for anything. We're not buying ads. We're not buying a podcast interview. You are earning something through your expertise, through your experiences, through what you know and what you can talk about. And so having clear headshots that show who you are, what you genuinely look like, are so important to have. So invest in some headshots, grab your iPhone on a clean background, and snap away. Get a good quality, high resolution headshot if you can. Next, you're going to need a founder or company description. So this is not going to be the bio about you. It's going to be about what the thing is. Like, what is your company? What is your product? What is your podcast? What is the thing that you are pushing people towards? Have a little bit of a description about that. I recommend maybe no more than 3 sentences. That's pretty long. So keep it short, keep it brief, get to the point. You almost want this to be able to be part of an elevator pitch down the road. So it needs to be really snappy. Then you need to establish your key talking points. And those go back to what are you comfortable talking about, and outlining some bullet points that quickly answer some of the questions that someone might ask you. So key talking points are going to go back to your expertise. And I think a great way to start in this task and building out this asset for yourself is sitting down and asking yourself, what are some questions that people ask me when I tell them what I do? And if you can just jot down a couple talking points that answer those questions you've been asked before, that's a great starting point. Those talking points will evolve as you start booking interviews and having more conversations, but having a sort of baseline that you can always go back to is really, really essential to having a good foundation before you start pitching. And then the final thing that you're going to need in your kind of asset folder that we're building, that foundational bucket of materials that you need before you reach out to a single member of the press, you're going to need proof points. So social media is probably the first one that you thought of. How many followers do I have? Or how many people are downloading my email list? That is helpful. And some podcasts do filter out guests, podcasts especially, on how big those follower counts are. However, I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and I will tell you that there are very few people who are filtering out by your social following. And so if that's something that you have and you can share that, definitely include it. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to be great. If you don't have that though, I don't want you to stress about not having a big enough follower count, because when it comes to earned media, it just doesn't matter as much as you think it does. So as long as you have a good story, which we'll get into in other courses, as long as you have a good story to talk about and a good angle, and you're being thoughtful and strategic, and you're networking and connecting with the people that you're pitching to, follower count, it doesn't really matter. It's a nice bonus if you have it, but don't sweat it. So in proof points, what comes other than, what does that include other than a social count, right? This could be results from your business or product. It could be how many units you've sold, how many books you've sold, how many podcast downloads you've had on your own podcast. It could also be credentials. What kind of degrees do you have? What kind of expertise do you own that you can claim? And then what about your experience? Is there anything you've done? Have you spoken at certain events? Have you been featured in other places? Those are all things that can be considered proof points that aren't tied to social media, which is really nice and should be comforting, that it does not all hinge on how much visibility you already have, because it doesn't. So before you ask the media to care, this whole exercise is outlining why they should care about what you have to say. So all in all, when I do this for clients, it typically takes me about a work day to really gather all the information in total. So take some time really thinking about the answer to all these questions and all these elements, and really put together something super thoughtful, because this is going to set you up for success down the road. Now, I will mention quickly a couple of the things that you can use. Really just one that I'm thinking of, one of the tools in Prello, is the Media Kit Builder. So once you have outlined all of these things, once you even have all of the assets built, you have a Word doc for your bio, you have a folder for your headshots, you have a folder for your founder and company description, you have your key talking points written out, and you have your proof points outlined. Once you have all of those in place, go ahead into the Media Kit Builder, and that is going to show you what a media kit should look like. That's going to be your next step. So build out your media kit with the things we talked about in here, and I'll see you in the next video.